An attack on Ukraine's energy infrastructure and civilians. A criminal Russia can only be stopped by Donald Trump, but it takes Kiev's willingness to cooperate.
Bombing the hell out of Ukraine, I'm finding it more difficult, frankly, to deal with Ukraine. And they don't have the cards. They don't have the cards. As you know, we're meeting in Saudi Arabia on sometime next week.
America wants access to the mining of Ukraine's rare earth minerals as compensation for past military aid and a ceasefire guarantee that only Donald Trump can achieve. So far, the left liberal politicians' ideas for a ceasefire in Ukraine only lead to escalation, and Kiev is already well aware of this. Literally every day, Russia carries out attacks. Nothing changes in this regard. Moscow is set on destruction as long as the world allows it. Trump is the first leader to speak out. It's time to end this war, stop Russian crimes, save the lives of innocent people. And all while attacks on the American president are on the rise. Today, there was a shooting near the White House. A man who pulled out a gun was shot by Secret Service agents. The president is not in Washington, D.C., as he is staying at his residence in Florida. The American leader also has to contend with a barrage of left liberal politicians from Europe, with Berlin and Paris leading the way, of course. France is competing with American leadership in our civilization bloc. France simply continues to see itself as one of the main players in Europe, and doesn't want the United States to act too much here and be present. Trump and his dependence on Russian services today is no longer debatable. Trump was even recruited by the Russian services 30 years ago. And along with the politicians, the attacks on Trump are being joined by celebrities in Poland as well, just because he defends traditional values, family and security, cares about the economy, and is pulling away from ideological madness. Screw Trump and his associates. We salute, of course, all democratic forces that are trying to bring down this madman. We are also subjected to this kind of very hysterical propaganda, very emotional propaganda, which I personally find terribly irritating. That Trump doing what France has been doing for 2 years with Germany, that is, trying to find that point when Putin will finally stop. That unlike Scholz or Macron, if Trump is doing this, it is something terribly horrendous. It is destroying the world order. It is disrupting our security. Meanwhile, it is Donald Trump who has threatened Moscow with more sanctions, and it is he who is proposing a new security architecture. He wants peace in eastern Ukraine. He imposes tariffs on countries that are driving a wave of migrant criminals to America. He negotiates with Israel and Hamas to complete ceasefire terms and bring home the Israeli hostages still held by the terrorists. A window has been opened that provides an opportunity to release those hostages who are still in captivity. This is a chance for them to return to their families. I have been freed, and I ask that others be freed. This would not have been possible had it not been for the decisive actions of the new U.S. administration. The Middle East and Central and Eastern Europe were in pieces of Donald Trump's geopolitical puzzle. The new order in Europe may also include the redeployment of American troops from Germany to the countries of the eastern flank, including Poland, which under previous administrations became a leader in defense spending. There's some element of squeezing the Germans or Western Europe, the more unwilling ones within NATO, who don't want to spend the appropriate amount. So this is an attempt at a new geostrategic architecture. In this new security architecture of Donald Trump, it is Poland that could play a key role in Europe.